heuristic description of this formalization to be understood. Let us consider the second example. And the most important thing in this example to use quantify. هل كل طالب درس مادة Computer 301? In English, is all students studied course Computer 301? And they again, by using the output of their ALMR, they provide this interpretation or formalization for the meaning of this interrogative or question. My comments in this work or contribution is as following. Let us go back to this thing. They use some kind of grammatical syntactical categories like what I have mentioned: common noun, adjective, verb, transitive and intransitive, and preposition. But please pay attention to the formal interpretation for transitive verb and the preposition. Both of them. So, two syntactical categories with the same formalization. And that is not incorrect and misleading in some way. Again, the same notice. We can see the intransitive verb here and the common noun here. Two syntactic categories, but with just one formalization, and again that's insufficient for accurate formalization of a kind of expression. They mentioned on their contribution on paper, they are going to treat interrogatives. But actually, I couldn't see any difference between using their output of ALMR for interrogatives or affirmatives. And that might be more invisible to us if we consider the examples again where they're using interrogatives like hell, which is in English, or man, which is who or whom, ma or what, but with no formal equivalent of these words. And that make their formalization of these interrogatives insufficient and incorrect. I couldn't see any syntax, semantics, connectivity in their formalization. And I couldn't see any real use to the core principle of compositionality. Because if we notice the example, or look at them again, it's a kind of straightforward formalization from the natural language expression to the simple and standard predicate logic. nothing about lambda calculus, nothing about intentional logic, as they have mentioned in their papers. Let us see now the second contribution, which has been given by Bassam Haddad and Mustafa Yassin, and both of them, again, are computer scientists. We're working on the University of Amman in Jordan, and based on my survey, I have found that they provided during 7 years, starting from 2001 to 2007, 5 works. And let us consider the titles of each publication. The first one was in 2001. Its title is Two Ways Understanding Arabic, a logical approach for semantic representation, and this is a conference paper. 2002, AGQL, an Arabic generalized quantifiers language, and this was a research project at the University of London. 2003, two-word semantic composition of Arabic, a lambda with combination with DRT or discourse representation theory of Hans Kamp based approach, and that was online publication. 2005, a compositional approach to word semantic representation and construction of Arabic, and this is a chapter of a book. 2007, the final publication and contribution for them, semantic representation of Arabic, a logical approach to words compositionality and generalized Arabic quantifiers, is a journal publication. Based on my investigation to these works, all of these works are the same, and honestly can be put all together under just one contribution. The only one difference between these 5 works is because they have been published in different years, different occasions, and different publication formats. All of these works address related issues to building or providing a computational systems of Arabic semantics, which based on the interface between syntax and semantics. Actually using, as they mentioned, the lambda conversion or lambda calculus with combination of the intentional logic and the, in some way, with the DRT or the discourse representation theory. Quoted them, this quotation quoted them of both of their works. They confirmed their target and the way to reach this target by saying that we believe that since semantic representation has to be compositional on the level of semantic processing, okay, so your target then is compositionality. Lambda calculus based on discourse representation theory can be utilized as a helpful and practical technique for the semantic construction of Arabic in Arabic understanding system. And Haddad, in his publication, journal publication 2007, which is the most recent contribution of them in this regard, says, despite the fact that standard predicate logic, okay, represents well-studied formal representation formulas, it doesn't provide any compositional facet.